What's the story, YouTube? It's Example. Today I have something to show you all that I wish I didn't have to. Something within the FIFA Esports community came to light in the past couple of hours, and I thought it was important to give this as much attention as it deserves. Racism in FIFA Esports. This morning, LAMaynard, who is somebody I consider a friend in the FIFA scene, also a pro boxer just by chance, he came under a racial attack when he streamed yesterday evening from a burner Twitch account. He actually found out who was controlling this burner account, and rightfully so, started to absolutely expose all these racist kids that are also competitive FIFA players. I also have an interview with a person involved in all the racism that occurred, and that's toward the end of the video. We will get to it. I just have a few more points to make. The screenshots and videos were flying in from all angles to Maynard from a fake Twitter account of some disgusting conversations from 16 to 22-year-old FIFA players that thought they were safe to do so and say what they really felt in a 20-person Snapchat group chat. Now, I have zero right to show you any of these conversations or screenshots of what was said, but as you've seen in the thumbnail and as well the tweet as I showed you, the main tweet that Maynard did put up at the start of the thread. It's all on Maynard's Twitter. I'll leave it up to you to show Maynard the support he deserves over on his Twitter. But I'm not going to put in some of the disgusting conversations that were had because they're honestly just horrible. And I just couldn't imagine bringing them to light on YouTube over here. But it definitely needs to be spoken about and discussed on YouTube like it has on Twitter. To the group of people that got exposed as being completely racist in that Snapchat group, I hope the audience you built up is lost and that the people that you know in real life catch up with you with this news. Because honestly, it's disgusting. And also to the other, well, not the other, but the also included disgusting individuals that made burner Twitch accounts to abuse people for their ethnicity or bully a streamer for being who they are. I hope to God you never run into those same people you abused online in person, because honestly, I doubt your interaction would be as parasocial as it were on Twitch. Because that's exactly what happened to Maynard. He was streaming and somebody came in and just started giving him dog's abuse for being who he is, racial slurs, all that jazz, and a lot worse. It's crazy to me. A professional boxer as well, that has the manners of a fucking god, can come under such scrutiny because people think they're safe in their own little worlds, on their own little Twitch burner accounts. And that is honestly the most mind-boggling thing I've heard in so long, that somebody can feel safe from a professional boxer through second Twitch accounts. What should be done about these racist individuals? The evidence is so damning that there is little to no justifying your intent with the words that were said. With that out of the way, I think they should never be able to play FIFA competitively ever again, of course. I would argue they shouldn't be allowed to make content on FIFA again either. Because that is the exact ban that Kurt has in place for a lot less damage done. So personally, I think this would be getting let off lightly. Furthermore, it's possible EA report these individuals to Twitch to get them banned from that side of things too. I wouldn't even be surprised if this goes all the way to police forces, especially those who went out of their way to create second accounts on Twitch to abuse people who were just minding their own business. Out of the 10 involved in the conversations that were held in the Snapchat group, nine of those have either deactivated their account on Twitter, turned off their DMs, or privated their Twitter. But I did get a chance to speak to one of them in DMs to see what they are thinking, and this is what was said. Again, I am not promoting hate, and the guy asked me to not bring his identity into this, so I am respecting that wish of his. But saying that, he mentions names of people in which I won't rule out because that again that was his decision to make. So the first question I asked him was, do you think your Snapchat group are innocent? As you can see from his answer here, there's a lot to debunk. He talks about how there is two individuals that are creating hate crime out of thin air for their own enjoyment, which would honestly make you stick to your absolute stomach. He also talks about another individual who may perhaps be playing the victim currently, but has a history of saying mad stuff himself, and in return, mad stuff is said back to him, which to me is still ridiculous because I have banter with my mates, slagging and cutting people down without bringing up their ethnicity. The second question I asked was, what do you think should happen to those involved? His answer was simple, and I do agree in some points. I imagine by training, he means racial awareness courses, something along those lines, I'd imagine. Also, he mentions those that are not innocent. So it kind of sounds like he does believe that there is people that are innocent out of the 10 involved. I would argue that none of the 10 involved are innocent, because if you think it is funny to bring somebody's ethnicity into a debate or an argument, it's like bringing a knife to a fist fight. It's actually just ludicrous to me how any of these think that saying racial slurs can be funny at all. Like, I really just don't understand. And I'm glad I don't understand. And I also disagree. None of them should ever be unbanned. Plain and simple, you are not representing only yourself in esports, but the game and the organization that is attached to you, or the org that you could be attached to in the future. Which, it's just crazy to think that you're alone and that you can be racist so out there in a huge group chat and think that this won't come back to haunt you. It's ridiculous. Lastly, all right, in the question number 3 I asked, if you are friends with somebody like Vert and continue to be during him abusing people online for his own enjoyment, what does that say about the friend group as a whole? He states that he is only there sometimes in the group, the interviewee, and that the main culprits are those mentioned. Also mentions another person who, by the way, has nothing to do with any of the actions that have taken place over the day. Okay? No, not at all. And as he mentions, he has not spoken in the group in a very long time. I understand what he means when he says you can't control what people say behind the screen. But let's not make any mistakes here. We, as individuals, have to take accountability for our own words, regardless of what has been said to you. I get death threats and called the worst for being Irish, but I never respond with the same energy, because that's not the world I or anybody should live in. And that's my take on it. How ridiculous is it to live up to somebody else's standard or lack of standard? Lastly, based on what has been said and done, I want to urge you all to be mindful of other people's feelings. We don't need more hate on this topic. We just need more awareness so it reaches the likes of big organizations and companies like Twitch, EA, or perhaps even the police if needs be. Fighting fire with fire doesn't put nothing out. If you are in a big group chat, don't live up to the standards of toxic people or racist people. Being true to yourself will make you appreciate yourself more and keep your beliefs in check. What was said in that group chat is downright disgusting, and whether they were all saying this to each other because they thought it was funny does not take away the fact of how racist they were being and how unfunny it is to be racist and always will be. I really thought it was important to bring this video to light because it did get a lot of attention on Twitter, so I wanted to keep everybody on YouTube in the loop. YouTube is way bigger than Twitch, and Twitter, I guess, put together probably. So it deserves, to be noticed anywhere, because racism in esports, something that I have, dedicated my life to for the past 4 or 5 years. It's not something I want to be tarnished, and it's not something I think should be represented within the esport. It's something that doesn't exist here, and it shouldn't and won't, especially within the circle that I have. And also, please, 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 show your support to LAMaynard, who streams around midnight most nights on Twitch. I'll leave his details below in the description. He is such a lovely person, and he has rightfully exposed all these people for being outright disgusting, in my opinion. Okay, with that being said, all right, sorry to bring this to you. I'd rather not, but it is what it is. Good luck.